Welcome to the Soul Archaeology podcast, a space for connection, resonance, witnessing, and learning. Together we'll harvest medicine from the spiral of life, sharing conversations with other embodied humans who have navigated their own initiations and found alignment with their true soul essence. With weekly astrology, energy updates, embodied conversation, and channeled teachings, this is a space for you to land and find resonance with the spiral of your own soul. Hello, welcome back to Soul Archaeology. I'm recording this for the second time because I realized the first time I recorded it, I was way too close to the microphone. I'm actually not using my normal microphone because I am traveling. I'm in St. Louis with my family. Very interesting times. I'm actually on the path of totality of this eclipse. It's so nice to be here with you today on the day of the eclipse, April 8th, the total solar eclipse in Aries. This is an extremely amplified time. We have, of course, a new moon in Aries, which is within 11 degrees of the North Node. So we are experiencing a solar eclipse, but we're experiencing a total solar eclipse that happens to travel across the continental US. And this is extremely significant because we won't have an eclipse that travels this type of path that activates the United States in particular so deeply until 2044, which is a significant year because that's also when Pluto moves out of Aquarius. And so this 20-year theme is coming forward in such a deep way. It is activating our I am. It is having us tune so deeply into our own needs, desires, wants, passions, purpose. It's activating the self-actualization that we need in order to operate in our highest expression within this life. Aries is the first sign in the zodiac. It is, like I said, I am. It is the spark of life. It's where we enter into life, where we enter into the zodiac wheel, where we begin to develop a sense of self, connecting to the body, connecting to the psyche, connecting to our purpose here. Why are we here? Who are we? And as we know, we need a strong connection to self in order to bring our wholeness and our fullness to this life, in order to embody our purpose, our deepest medicine, in order to embody our power. And when I think about Aries, I think about initiation. I think about the spark of life. I think about life force. Because when we think about Aries, we think about pure life force. We think about the purest mobilized energy, the energy that creates, the energy that moves forward, not the energy that gets muddled by indecision and worrying about what others think of it, or worrying about how others feel in certain circumstances and situations. That's not the job of Aries. The job of Aries is to actualize, it's to create, it's to mobilize, it's to embody. And in its shadow, it can be quite reckless. It can be reactive, of course, because it's not sitting in that soup of codependency or attunement or empathy. It's direct and it's clear and it's focused. And so when we think about living in the highest expression of Aries, it's the part of us that's able to make decisions that align with our greatest good, knowing that people might not understand it, that codependency really is not true care and affection and love. In its highest expression, it's the conscious warrior. It's the embodied and aligned human who can fully align with its path, its purpose, its truth in order to deliver the medicine that it knows it's here to deliver, in order to embody its fullest, most true self. and something I've been thinking about a lot is that our greatest service in this life, the greatest gift we can give ourselves, our loved ones, and the world is self-healing, is self-regulation, is self-awareness. The more we understand ourselves, the better we're able to understand the world. And that's one of the greatest teachings of Aries that I don't think is touched on often enough, is that when we fully understand our own motives, our own desires, our own behaviors, patterns, tendencies, we're able then to interact with the world from an embodied, balanced, self-aware space. This energy it's an immense activation. It is activating our life force. I've talked to so many people that are feeling it physically. I've been even feeling it, especially because I'm unexpectedly on the path of totality. I was not planning to be here. I booked a flight last minute to be with family for some other circumstances and realized that I would be on the direct path of totality for the second time in 10 years. The last time we had experienced an eclipse like this was 2017, and that eclipse was very similar, except it was opposite. It traveled in an opposite direction. It traveled from the northwest to the southeast. This is traveling northeast to the southwest through Texas, but it's crossing in my homeland. It's crossing in southern Illinois, where I grew up, and so many themes coming up around my own personal power, my voice, my truth, shedding my 12th house Libra, which can be very people-pleasing, codependent, who relies on that safety and connection, but it has led me astray in many ways in my life, and so I'm doing so much work around that. You can hear my voice cracking as I'm talking about this. I'm in the pressure cooker for sure. So if you are too, I see you and I feel you. You're doing good work. Trust what your solar plexus is telling you. Trust what your gut's telling you. We are working to upgrade our solar plexus right now, our place of personal power. We're working to identify the spaces and the places within us where we hold patterns of self-abandonment, of fear of loss, of fear of fully embodying and activating our power. What does that mean for you? What would it look like if you were to be 100% fully in your power right now? How would people respond around you? How would your life change and shift? What decisions would you make if you were to truly honor your truth and your voice, your needs? What would that look like? And I think that's a good prompt. That's a good invitation to sit with now, is where are you abandoning self in order to appease or please or keep someone else safe? Where are you avoiding your power to stay safe, perhaps? Where are you letting life drag you around rather than taking it in your own hands and taking the reins to direct where you'd like it to go? Don't forget, we are co-creators in this. Eclipse season is not a great time to manifest because it's really, truly such an incredibly potent and powerful time. It is quite chaotic. There's a lot that happens within eclipse season that we cannot control. I'm always delivered a lesson in that around eclipse season, is that the things occur that I sometimes beat myself up for because I wish I could have changed it or seen it coming or prepared myself more. And that's not the nature of eclipse season. It doesn't ask permission. It just does. And it's here to realign us. It's here to redirect us along our path. I've talked a lot about this, so I'm not going to go in depth about eclipses. I would recommend episodes 10 through 14 to really get into the nature of eclipses. Even the last 3 episodes, I've been doing quite a bit of diving into this energy. But when we look at what eclipses are, it's when we have a full or new moon within 11 degrees of the nodes. And with the lunar nodes currently in Aries and Libra, we are experiencing karmic realignments within our relationships to self and our relationship to others. Our relational framework, how is it formed? What patterns are held there? Self-worth is a huge focus right now because we need self-worth in order to actualize, in order to embody our power, to embody our truth. This eclipse is extremely karmic. We're experiencing waves of light that we've never experienced on this planet. I say this a lot on this podcast, but I actually was lucky enough to be along the path of totality of the last eclipse that we had that was similar to this, the one that happened in August of 2017 when the nodes were in Leo and Aquarius. And the path of totality crossed in Southern Illinois, like I said, where I grew up. And thinking back to that time, I was navigating very similar themes that I'm navigating now, just in different ways. I'm more embodied, I'm more in my power, but those patternings are still there. And it's been hard for me to swallow that pill. It's also been an incredible practice for me to look back and see the similarities, right? See the similar patterns, the tendencies, the sort of knee-jerk reactions I have, the deep pathways that were carved very young for me within my relational framework, and how I'm responding differently this time, how much more aware I am. And I think that's an important thing to do right now, is to realize you're not regressing, you're traveling deeper. And it's Mercury retrograde as well. Venus, Chiron, the North Node, and Mercury retrograde all happening in the sign of Aries. It's an extremely karmic eclipse. I can't emphasize that enough. This is an extremely karmic 2 years with the North Node interacting with Chiron, interacting with our core wounds around identity, self-worth. And so it's really important to give yourself compassion and grace as you navigate this time. Remember, this is not a regression. This is a path along the spiral. You're traveling in a deeper layer of the wound. And we're not here to eradicate our wounds. We're here to learn how to love them, how to work with them, how to let them show us their medicine, to spend enough time in their presence that they reveal to you the deepest medicine that you need in order to evolve and grow in this life. And when I look back to 2017, it was one of the most challenging years of my life. And I've experienced similarly that energy of this past year, losing Arlo, navigating really extremely difficult relational patterns in my life, looking at where I'm self-abandoning, where I'm afraid to be in my power, even where that subtle self-sabotage comes in to keep me small. And she's inviting me deeper. She's inviting me into a deeper relationship with myself, with my power, with my voice, my truth. My 12th house Libra hates it. She's getting run through the washing machine basically right now, and it's extremely uncomfortable. But the more you can harness the opportunity, the power of this time, the more you can work with the energy. So it's not a great time to manifest, but it's a great time to listen to the patterns coming up, listen to your desires, your intuition, what's activated within you, and respond from your highest expression, not from the wound, but from your highest expression, doing it differently this time. That's your invitation. The next time we'll have an eclipse like this that really crosses the whole continental US is in 2044, which is, interestingly enough, when Pluto moves out of Aquarius. So this next 20 years we're experiencing the beginning of it. And so I ask you, what do you want your next 20 years to look like? How do you want to feel? What do you want to embody? What do you want each day to feel like? That's an invitation for today. I always recommend that people spend the eclipse time in meditation, in deep connection to self, in listening, in perhaps reciting mantras or sitting with that frequency, the highest vibration that you're calling in, bringing in light to your body, to your field. This eclipse is asking, who are you? Who are you? Who do you want to be? It's all available to you. You just need to know. And in order to know, you need to be connected to self. And that is the invitation. Anytime you feel yourself being pulled out of that connection, reconnect. Go deeper. It's such a powerful next few weeks. Like I said, we have Venus, the North Node, Chiron, Mercury Retrograde, and the Sun in Aries. Sorry, I forgot about the Sun. And so these themes will continue all through April. The eclipse portal stays open for about a month afterwards. We have the very powerful Jupiter Uranus conjunction happening on the 20th, April 20th. So that's very significant. We have Mars also conjunct Saturn. So there's just so much coming up around our will, our drive, our needs, our worth. This week is a big one. I think I've mentioned this before, but the time of the eclipse is just an activation. The change occurs outside of the activation. The change occurs through the ripple and through the integration of the medicine. And eclipse energy moves slowly. So you may notice right away things change. Right away people are moved out or moved in. But you might notice that it takes about 6 months for this energy to really complete. Our next eclipses will be in the fall. Those will be extremely significant as well. We have our first eclipse in Pisces and along the Pisces and Virgo axis as well this fall. So this is a time to really milk the medicine of this axis. The next 6 months will be transformative, extremely transformative. So buckle up, pay attention to the messages, let yourself be in the essence without judgment. I'm sending you so much love. Thank you for being here. I don't have my usual stuff because this is a last minute trip and I'm recording with a different microphone. I don't have my cards with me. So I just wanted to drop in for this episode to just reassure you, to spend a little time clarifying the energy. There's a lot of doomsday messaging. And I mean, so many significant events happening. There's events with NASA. There's events that are occurring with the significance of where the eclipse is, where the path of totality is occurring. It's crossing the two eclipses, 2017 and this one, 2024, are crossing at Little Egypt in southern Illinois, really close to where I grew up. There's a lot of significance, but it's important more than ever to remember your power within all of this, to remember your power to choose, your power to respond, your power to stay embodied, stay connected to self through this. Thank you so much for being here, for your presence, for your constant self-work. You are the warrior that we're looking for. You are the light being that we need. So thank you. I appreciate each and every one of you. And just a reminder, I am hosting the in-person immersion over 4 weeks. We meet every 2 weeks in Topanga Canyon. We have an incredible small group of people, so there's a few spots left if you are interested. We will be working with this eclipse energy. We are activating our power, activating the immense amount of life force and light that's entering the planet right now and learning how to work with it. And so that will be a really, really cool immersion. It's, like I said, it's 4 weeks, but it's every 2 weeks. So we meet in an incredible location up in the mountains and outside of Topanga Canyon. If you can be there, it's on Saturdays. Feel free to look at the show notes. I have the link there. I also have the link for the red light box that I use and I've been using a lot lately as we navigate these intense times. Inflammation can be high with all of the Aries energy, with all the light entering. So it is more important than ever to tend to our physical form, our nervous systems, our immune systems, our physical bodies. There's so much that we're being pulled into and pulled through with this time, with the amount of pressure and light. And so our bodies respond and react in ways that might be make us unwell, And so with the deep purge, I think it's great to have tools and resources that help you navigate it with more ease. Red light is an incredible way to do that, to reduce inflammation, to allow your body to absorb light in a way that is more accessible for it. I'm sending you all so much love. Thank you for being here. Let me know how this episode lands. Let me know how eclipse season is for you. I'd love to hear from you. And I'm wishing you all the best.